Moonraker was released in 1979 and demonstrates that biggest is not always best when it comes to James Bond films. With a budget over double that of The Spy Who Loved Me, what should have been a thrilling outer space adventure was instead a bloated disarray of action scenes and one-liners. In it, 007 investigates Drax Industries after one of its space shuttles goes missing in a plane crash during transportation. With the help of CIA agent Holly Goodhead, they make their way onto Drax's undetected space station, where he plans to commit global genocide and create a new master race. The success of Star Wars was fresh in people's minds, and with NASA's space shuttle program ever closer to launch, For Your Eyes Only was delayed in favour of a sci-fi screenplay. Lewis Gilbert returned to direct the incredibly loose adaptation of Fleming's 1955 novel Moonraker, but not only did the director remain the same, most aspects of The Spy Who Loved Me were copied following its resounding success at the box office. This is all too evident just watching the opening to both films. Both start with a hijacking, a reaction,
Oh my God.
What the hell is that?
a distressing call to receive the bad news,
Yes, I'll put our best man on it at once. Yes, of course, Minister. Right away.
and a double entendre segue into Bond's antics.
Moneypenny, where's 007?
He's on a mission, sir, in Austria.
Well, tell him to pull out. Immediately. Moneypenny, is 007 back from that African job?
He's on his last leg, sir.
The problem is lightning never strikes twice. Whereas The Spy Who Loved Me skillfully balanced plot, action and outlandishness, Moonraker fumbles and lets that balance slip. Action scenes are thrown together haphazardly, and the plot is left with more holes than Drax's space station. The frequent change of location doesn't help. Bond never has the chance to settle before being whisked away somewhere else. From California to Venice to Rio de Janeiro to Iguazu Falls, oh and outer space, the setting is always outrunning the plot, which makes things seem completely random at times. How long was that guy waiting in the coffin for? How do Bond and Goodhead keep bumping into each other? Where did those guys come from? It's silly to question the logic of Bond films too much, of course, but overall Moonraker does seem like a string of separate action scenes jammed together like two mismatched jigsaw pieces. But it comes as no surprise when you hear from the filmmakers themselves.
Well, mind you, that's why the action sequences continue on Bond films, because people get bored with this and say, let's just have another action sequence and get on with it.
Yeah.
The problem is, the majority of Moonraker's action sequences are quite dull. Jaws' popularity harkened his return, but his cable car brawl with Bond is slow and clumsy. Speedboat chases are the same old stuff, and seeing Roger Moore wrestle a fake snake just isn't that interesting. Perhaps the best example of an action scene gone wrong, however, is Bond's chase into St. Mark's Square, where we see just how far Q takes his gadgetry. The hovercraft gondola, or bondola to some, is a step too far into absurdity. People have always imagined a submarine car, but how many have dreamed of riding a sluggish hovercraft gondola? To be fair, Moonraker does contain some great scenes early on. The opening stunt in the pre-title sequence is impressive simply because you know it was done for real. 88 skydives later, and we're left with a thrilling start to the film. The centrifuge scene is also memorable thanks to some great sound design and editing. It's nice to see 007 actually in danger for once, and suffering because of it. Of course, what would be death for anyone else is only a minor headache for Bond. As well as a vast array of locations, there's also a vast array of one-liners for Bond. It leads to another issue in Moonraker. Every other line Roger Moore speaks is a sardonic quip, or if not, at least delivered like it is.
Play it again, Sam. Not what I want to get stuck with tonight. Fairly deadly, diary. Rifle overpowering your scent. How do you kill 5 hours in Rio? I discovered he had a crush on. Bang on time. Heartbroken, Mr. Drax. Take a giant step for mankind. Oh, he had to fly.
There's always room for throwaway jokes in Bond films, and has been from the very beginning. But when the ratio of wisecracks to actual dialogue seems almost equal, something's not right. Cast-wise, Holly Goodhead, played by Lois Charles, is a forgettable Bond girl. She's made out to be another Anya-type character, a female agent adverse to Bond's charms, but we all know how that goes. Hugo Drax is a curious villain, unusually quiet and reserved for a man who wants to destroy the human race. Fortunately, it gives the character a psychopathic vibe. Michael Lonsdale was even able to make the offering of a cucumber sandwich sound sinister.
May I press you to a cucumber sandwich?
Thank you, no, nothing at all.
Special mention, however, must go to Bernard Lee, for this would be his last appearance as M. A staple of the series, he embodied the character perfectly, and it was pleasing to see the more personal relationship M and Bond shared in this film.
You better take 2 weeks' leave of absence, 007. You any thoughts about where you might go?
I always had a hankering to go to Rio, sir.
I think I can recall your mentioning it. 007. No slip-ups. Or we're both in trouble.
Despite the humongous publicity campaign which advertised Bond in space, the sci-fi elements only take up the last half hour. Perhaps that's for the best though, as the special effects have not stood the test of time well. What was cutting edge in 1979 does have the tendency to look silly today. Zero gravity is just slow walking, and despite being in outer space, those walls sure do wobble a lot. That being said, the set design is superb, and with much experience, the crew sure did know how to blow things up. Moonraker isn't a terrible film. Its outlandishness and pantomime attitude is very much like Diamonds Are Forever. It's just unfortunate it was preceded by such a great entry, which highlights its flaws. What's worse is you can see what they were trying to achieve, taking what worked in The Spy Who Loved Me and going bigger with it. In the end, their bravado got the better of them, but it didn't seem to matter much. Moonraker became the highest grossing entry in the series and would remain at the top until GoldenEye in 1995. Despite this, the producers decided it would be best to rein it back for Bond's next adventure.